Hey, it's Paul from Bajimo Fitness. Are you struggling to lose weight or body fat, but are fairly active and don't understand why? There might be a couple of reasons. But before I get to the reasons, let's start with the obvious. You are consuming more calories than you are burning. If you're gaining weight, you're consuming much more calories. If you're maintaining, that means you're basically a wash. You might be burning 2,000 and you're eating 2,000, somewhere around that range. Now, why that is happening and how to change it is the point here. The first thing I'd have you look at is your macros. So, this means the protein, the fat, the carbs, that ratio that you have daily. Even athletic people tend to, if you're not paying attention, move toward more carbs than we need than the protein. Protein should be the most important one for you. I know that's kind of flipped from what you may have learned as a child or what you might be doing because it's just easier to eat some of the carbohydrate foods. But if you focus on protein first, you'll see two benefits. Number one, it will help build muscle. So, all the activity you're doing, you'll be able to recover, you'll be able to get stronger. Number two, you'll actually feel fuller longer. Now, this one, some people they don't believe, but I think it's the difference between feeling bloated when you eat and then being hungry again and then feeling just satisfied from your meal. A lot of times you can eat a lot of carbs, you'll feel bloated, your stomach might protrude, you'll be like, I feel full. But if there's a little difference in how you can eat, especially if you get some fiber with it. If you eat some veggies and some protein, it will satisfy you for longer. You'll be able to go without snacking between meals. And for those that say they do not get full off of protein, I would say do it more than one day. Give it a try for, 3 days, a week. If after a week you don't see the difference, and maybe snacking a little bit less from trying to hit a certain amount of protein, I would say minimum 100 grams, I'd be shocked. Number two, you're not as active as you think you are. Most of us have sedentary jobs where we're sitting for hours and then we go home. We might do a workout before work or after work, but then we go home, have dinner, and then we kind of sit around again. To me, even if a workout is included, that's kind of a sedentary life. 60 minutes in the gym or, a couple of times a week you're playing a sport is not really a difference maker as far as I'm constantly burning calories from always moving. Now, if you have a job where you are moving a lot, maybe even a teacher or you're someone that does construction or something like that, where you're constantly up, you're burning calories just from moving. You might have 10, 15, 20,000 steps in your job. Yes, then I would consider that an active lifestyle, I suppose. The other thing that can throw people off is when they look at the machines on cardio. So you might be doing treadmill, elliptical, bikes, and it kind of overestimates how many calories you burn during a workout. Trackers lie too. Most of the time, you're not burning over 1,000 calories per workout. And the only problem is if you pay attention to it too much, you might think you have more leeway than you do. So you go do a workout, you decide to have a 500, 600 calorie snack, and you think, oh, I burnt 1,500 calories. What's 500 calories going to do? Well, if you only really burned 600 calories, 700 calories, you're cutting into that deficit. And then that's just one or two snacks from making no difference at all. So for trackers, I'd only pay attention to the distance and the time. I would just stay consistent with that. Otherwise, don't look at the calories burned. None of that. You can look at steps too. That's a good indicator because that's kind of the same each time. But don't worry about how many calories you burn. Just do your workout that you want to do and leave it at that. Now, this also goes to if you're only doing cardio, that could be an issue. You are literally only burning calories when you do that exercise. So even if you do go do cardio or run 4 times a week, that means the only calorie burns you get is for that. With strength training, you can build some muscle, but it also burns calories throughout the day. So it may not be as many calories burnt at that moment of time, but it still helps you throughout the day. Plus, when you have a little bit more muscle on you, you actually look a little bit better. So If you're feeling like you're a little flabby and just need to lose a little bit of weight, the weight training can actually help you a little bit there and sculpt your body a little bit better, give you a better shape. The third thing is too many exceptions. You might be doing well for 2 to 3 days, even a couple of weeks, but then you miss a week of workouts because, kids are sick or you're busy at work, and that just throws you off. It's hard to keep making that progress when you have those weeks where you just off. Same goes for eating. You might eat good for 2 to 3 days, or you eat well for the week, but then you kind of indulge too much during the weekend. That can offset everything you did during the week. And if it's not that, it might be special occasions, birthdays, parties, holidays, those little things. You might make a little progress, then all of a sudden you're gone. You might make a little progress, then it seems to be disappear again. You just got to find a way to be consistent with your exercise and your eating habits. Now, the best way I have found to do this is to always plan at least a week ahead. So if I struggle with this, what I would do is every Sunday or whatever day that you start the week, you look at your schedule. Is there days where my workouts will be affected from meetings or whatever? If there is conflicts, that's when I'll see where I can fit workouts in between scheduling. So you might usually work out in the morning, but maybe that won't work. You have to work out at night. You might even have to move a day. So you might go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You might have to go Monday, Thursday, Saturday, or something like that. You always have to pay attention to what your schedule will allow. Now, it'd be great if you could say, this is when I'm going to do my workouts. I'm not changing for nothing. That's just not how life works. Let's be honest. So when life does life, how are you going to get around that? Do you have a second option? Instead of going to the gym, can you work out at home? All those things you need to have in place so when it happens, you are ready and you don't have to think about it. You just do it. This is the same thing I do for eating. If I do notice that there's some special occasions or I got to eat out, I'll make sure that I am dialed in for the days prior. I don't just do whatever and then notice that it's here. And then I'm like, oh no, I want to eat well because I need to stay on track. Those are the times where you probably don't stay on track. You try to be on track when you're eating on your own and it's a more controlled environment. So basically it all comes down to planning. Being motivated is great, but that's not what's going to get it done. The planning and the discipline of consistency is what's going to get it done. If you are one of those that just do sports or, cardio, but need some strength training, I have a 3 exercise healthy habit guide you can download, get started. You can do it 2 to 3 times a week. It will be beneficial to you. So if this video helped, like it, share it with others. It'll help me out. Until next time, peace.